Hello guys and welcome to my 2B2T exploration series. In today's video I'm going to be telling a story about, well basically the start of my most messed up story. This will be like maybe a two-part story. Maybe I can get it finished today, I don't know. I'll try and get it finished today because I won't be able to tell it for a while after this, because like see in my house in the weekend my wee brothers are in all the time and I don't want them hearing it because it's a pretty messed up story. Also, see if you're under 18, I would recommend not watching this video because this story's pretty twisted and yeah, without further ado. So it begins when after I've left high school and I've been hanging out with my friends, and there's this other girl that who basically I hated all the way through primary school, and I barely spoke to her in high school, so I thought, alright, primary school, who cares, she's probably a nice girl now, and she joined our group. Well, she'd always been in the group, but she'd never really interacted with me, and I started talking to her, and she actually was alright, and we became friends, like really good friends, and yeah, so we started hanging out for a bit, and it turns out she was a bit unhinged. Like, she didn't do anything to me, but her actions like made her look a bit unhinged. So yeah, I knew she was a bit unhinged, but I liked her. She was my friend, and I didn't want to, like, you know, upset her by falling out with her because she's acting a bit weird, because I act a bit weird myself, but I'm not unhinged. I don't want to, like, you know, discriminate against, well, not discriminate against her, but make her feel bad, like, even though I sometimes act a bit weird. So yeah, we were talking for a few weeks and everything seemed fine. Like, and I thought she was single as well, so I was like, this girl really talks to me a lot. Maybe old Larry's gonna get a girlfriend here. And everything was going great until one night. One night, me and my friends all go out drinking, and she's there, and I drank to the point where I couldn't even, like, I could barely even walk, and this girl, she drank a bit, but she was still fine. She could walk and, like, you know, dance and jump about and all that. She was fine. She was just a bit tipsy, and she said, "Kyle, can you come into the room with me for a second?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went into the room with her, and you can probably guess what happened there. Old Larry lost his virginity, but yeah. That's not like that's like the one of the only good things that happens in this story. So everything's great until the next day. So the next day, one of my friends said, "Do you know she has a boyfriend, right?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, she has a boyfriend, and he's a substance dealer." And I was like, "Oh God. If this guy finds out, I'm gonna get killed." And then she messaged me and said, "Please don't tell anyone about that." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna tell anyone, I don't want to die." And she's like, "Good, because if you told anyone I'd get people to jump you." And I was like, "Oh no, I maybe shouldn't have done this." And yeah, this is when the perfect friendship goes to a very toxic friendship. So every day she would ask me, "Have you told anyone?" And I would always say no, because I didn't want to get destroyed by this big junky guy. So she's asking me every single day, and I think I'll be able to get this story finished today. She asked me every day, and I always said no, but I still hang out with her because she was my friend and I didn't want to, like, abandon her. Just we'd had a wee bit of a, you know, we were a bit more than just friends at that point. And everything seems to be going a wee bit better, and then she's like, "Hey Kyle, and can you come into, like, over here?" And basically we were in our house on our own, and she went, "I'm just curious," and then we basically done it again. That's basically what happened again. And yeah, I know she had a boyfriend and all that I'd never met, and I felt terrible, and I shouldn't have done that. I get it, but we all make mistakes. And yeah, so I finally get to meet her boyfriend a few days later, and oh my God, this guy was scary. Like, he was like right. I was like 5 foot at the time, and this guy was about 6 foot something, and he was like built like a tank. So me being a wee twig, well, not a wee twig. I was. This is when I started losing my muscle again after like leaving high school because I stopped doing my exercising. And yeah, I was starting to lose all my muscle, and I'd been drinking a lot because I hadn't been exercising. So yeah, he was like massive compared to me, and he could probably break me with one hand. So yeah, I was pretty scared if he found out. And then the girl moved in with him. Like they both got their own house together, and she asked me to come over and help her, like move stuff, furniture about. And I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll help you. And I started helping her move furniture about, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Come here." And no, this is not what you're thinking. This is a really this is a bit that really kind of scared me a bit and messed me up. She was like, "Did you tell anyone?" I was like, "No." And then she pulled out a knife and put it up to my throat and was like, "Did you tell anyone?" I was like, no." Like she was purely like trying to threaten me with a knife, and I was like, "No, I didn't tell anyone." She went, "Good. Now I need to ask your friend, like the other girl in our group." And I'm like, "You don't threaten her with a knife." She went, "I'll do what I want." So now she's threatening people with knives, which isn't a good look. And yeah, so that's what my life was like. Basically, I would get threatened every time she asked me from there on. But that's not where it gets. That's not where it's at its worst. So the girl, what was it again? I'm actually trying to remember. It was a long time ago. This story. My mind went blank. Oh yeah. So a few days, well, not a few days, but a week or so later, she says, "I'm pregnant." I was like, "Okay," and she's like, was it you?" And I was like, "No, we used protection, obviously, it wouldn't be me." And she's like, "I don't believe you, I bet you didn't do it." I was like, I did, we used," and she was basically like thinking I was the parent and that. I wasn't. And turned out she was lying about her pregnancy anyway. She was just trying to, I don't know, make me feel bad, I guess. So yeah, things go on as normal, and I'm starting to get a bit fed up with her, so I stop hanging out with her as much. And she starts to get angry at me. She's like, "Why are you not hanging out with me?" I'm like, "You're asking me to come out and hang out with you every single day. You're not giving me any peace to myself." And she's like, "Well, it's just boring here." And I'm like, "Well, can I at least have some time to myself? Like, you never give me any time to myself." And her boyfriend's starting to get a bit suspicious. And yeah, this is when things start going downhill. So basically, I stop hanging out with her for a bit, and then we start hanging out again. And things go okay for a bit, I guess. We go out drinking and all that. Nothing kinky happens, which is good because I didn't want to get stabbed. And then I'm out hanging out with like all my friends and that. And this is just after I went to work. This is when I used to work. And our boyfriend's there, and he's drunk. And he starts threatening to batter me because I looked at him, and I'm like, "Mate, I'm not gonna do anything." But I was fed up at the point with her and her boyfriend, and I started like not backing down. I was already getting drunk, so I was being a bit stupid. And thankfully he passed out, because see, in his back pocket he had a bloody knife, so I could have gotten stabbed that night. Good thing I didn't. And yeah, good thing he passed out, because yeah, I would have been like bloody stabbed by a mad junkie, a strong junkie at that. So I had to help like the girl carry him outside, because we had to get him into a taxi, and he was a mess. He was vomiting all over himself and everything. It was kind of funny because I didn't like the guy. And yeah, so now for the really twisted part. This is the bit where I nearly died. So yeah, fun. So one night, like going not one night. I'll tell you the thing before it. Well, what triggered this to happen. So I'm going out one day and I'm like, oh, I can't really go out today to my friend because I've got to stay home with family and like something's wrong with my cat. So she was like, just come out. Oh my god, you're so useless, and being pure horrible to me. And see all my friends, they all started like, you know, turning on me. Like I think she'd been spreading stuff behind my back. And there was these two new women and girls in our group that were basically like, they basically always took her side. And yeah, I hated them. I just despised them. And they always told me to stand up for myself with this girl. But the thing is, see, when I stood up for myself, they'd be like, why are you talking to her like that? And then they would turn on me. So yeah, they were basically just trying to create drama. And yeah, like, I decided to go out because this girl was just constantly bitching to me. So I went out to her and got her drink. Like, because she was 18, but she couldn't, like, actually, you know, buy the drink because she never had her ID. So I went out and bought her drink and I went, can me and you have a word? And then everyone's like, whoa, okay, just leave her alone. I'm like, I just want to talk to her. And they're like, no, just leave her alone. I'm like, oh, you know what, screw you guys. I hope your night goes crap, and walked away. And I got them the drink and everything. And then later that night, one of my good friends says, Kyle, she told him. And I was like, what? And they're like, Kyle, she told him. I'm like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah, he wants to kill you. I was like, oh my god, I am dead. Basically, she decided to tell him to get back at me for not really coming out to hang out with her. So she'd been threatening me not to tell him, and then she goes and tells him. And this is when things go really bad for me. She starts turning people against me, saying that I'm the one that pure suggested it and all that, like that we do that. But the thing is, she was the one that was like, come in here, and I was the one that was taken advantage of. I couldn't even move. I was drunk as hell. And she was like turning all my friends against me. And this guy, oh, I don't know how I got out of this, but he was like, see, I'm gonna, like, it was pure, I'm gonna stab you, I'm gonna break your fingers. And I was like, mate, I was drunk, I don't even remember it. And for some miracle, he believed me, and he went, right, if you ever go near her again, I'll break your fingers. And I was like, sure. And yeah, she started turning all my friends against me, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't defend myself because I couldn't talk to her or confront her or anything. So basically, I lost all my friends that day, and that's not where it gets. That's not where it ends. So a bit later, after I've had a really rough time, I managed to make all my friends back. Like, I'd actually, like, you know, made friends with everyone again, and things were going good. Well, she comes back, and she'd already dumped that guy, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, let's just make up. And see, I'm a really forgiving person. I always forgive people. And yeah, I always try to forgive people. And you know what she did? As soon as I forgave her, a few days later, she turned everyone against me again. And I called her so many horrible names, and I got jumped for it. I got absolutely battered for it off of someone because she got her friends, well, not her friends, but some guy to jump me. So yeah, got jumped because I spoke out against her. Not fun. And the thing is, this girl was a feminist, like one of those pure radical feminists. This is before I hated the radical feminist people, and now you know why I absolutely hate them. Because it didn't really end there. I did make up with. And nope, I didn't do anything bad to her. I actually did. So I just made her really annoyed. So what I did is I pure made up with her. And I was pure nice to her and everything, and she was pure happy because she was having a hard time. And you know what I did? One day I was just like, goodbye, and she's like, what the hell are you talking about? I went, goodbye, not speaking to you again. She's like, what the hell did I do? I went, you'll never know, goodbye. And blocked her, and apparently she was going off her nut because she didn't know what she did. Oh, Larry the trickster. But yeah, maybe the story isn't as messed up as I remember it to be, but it's still a messed up story. And yeah, also one of our friends made me break my fingers during like being friends with her, because our friend was annoying me all night. Uh-oh. Why's my game crashed? Uh-oh.